Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. Thanks so much for joining us on lunchtime on this Tuesday. Hopefully you're having a great start to the day. We'll jump right into things, and we kind of take a look at similar parts of the forecast to where we looked at them this morning, and we start with a regional look at the Day 1 Storm Prediction Center Storm Severe Convective Outlook thing. I botched that. The convective outlook, the severe storm outlook, whatever you want to call it. And it does have an enhanced risk area that has been introduced into northwestern Arkansas and northeastern Oklahoma. So for folks that have friends or family east of the Tulsa area, stretching into northwestern Arkansas from Fort Smith up toward Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, that kind of northwestern Arkansas hub, may want to give them a shout and let them know what's going on tonight. They may have a slightly higher threat for tornadoes as opposed to the rest of the region. We'll get to the rest of our outlook in just a minute. I'll show you the exact same image just zoomed in, and we'll take a closer look at what we can expect in our area. So far, satellite shows the afternoon cumulus clouds have arrived on schedule, and you can kind of follow the sea breeze moving in from the Gulf coastline. That's fueling a few thunderstorms just to our south and west, and it could lead to some isolated stuff. Already seeing some stuff on radar. Most active weather is, again, through the Ozarks, where the first round of thunderstorms has moved through, but they do expect kind of a resurgence, a recovery of the environment ahead of the advancing cold front later on this evening. Quick check of the radar, and again, every shingle radar product made possible by Brown's Roofing, brownsroofingla.com. And a look at what we're dealing with currently. It's pretty isolated, spotty stuff. That said, yesterday we had something very similar to this. It spooked me into bumping the rain chances up to 30%, and then we never really developed to anything further than this. So I'm going to follow and learn my lesson and keep the rain chances at 20% for today. And considering what we're seeing so far, the general thought process is that most stuff will be very spotty and very brief. That said, Mother Nature will probably throw me a curveball, and we'll probably look back at this and go, probably should have bumped them up to 30%. Again, that's semantics at this point. That's what's popping up right now. Shift a little bit farther northward, and you can see some of the spotty stuff that is making its way along the I-20 corridor. If you run into it at lunchtime, again, should be fairly light and fairly brief. Temperatures are still quite warm. We're in the mid to upper 80s, low 90s in some spots. The cloud cover will play a role on temperatures today, aiming for the low 90s for most spots. Again, the best rain chances don't arrive until late tonight or early tomorrow. And speaking of that, a look at Futurecast, made possible by Bayou Power Sports I-20 Frontage Road to Monroe, and just because I wanted to show my fancy little telestrator tool. That's the isolated stuff that we would generally expect to see over the next few hours. As we go into the daytime hours or the overnight hours and into early parts of the day on Wednesday, there will be some decaying thunderstorms moving toward our region. Who's impacted by those? It's really just a matter of the placement of the larger kind of complex or cluster of storms as it surges off to the south and southeast tonight. Some place it through southern Arkansas, some place it kind of through the Ark-La-Tex region, kind of like what you're seeing here. But I got a telestrator, I guess I show it. So again, there's one mode of thinking that we could see something like that, and then there's another area that brings that same complex through here, and then there's another mode of thinking that kind of brings it through here. So there's like a few different scenarios on how those storms can move through as we go through the nighttime hours tonight. Regardless, we expect rain through the overnight time frame for some of us. Again, if you wake up to dry pavement tomorrow, you shouldn't be surprised because the cold front will still be making its way through the region. Then we get daytime heating kind of festering and going through the course of the day, and there will be a better chance for more scattered showers and storms along and ahead of the boundary as it drags through the region, and maybe even a few fleeting showers and storms late tomorrow night as the actual boundary kind of exits the area. So that's kind of how things are generally expected to shake out. I also wouldn't expect, I wouldn't be surprised to see some lingering showers, especially along and south of I-20, and quite a bit of cloud cover through the day on Thursday. Again, severe weather threats are gone by then, but some lingering showers for Thursday is possible. Here's a look at the severe weather threats, again, made possible by Allegiance Health Network, and the northwestern counties and parishes are kind of in the heads up for late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Again, this outlook technically goes through around sunrise tomorrow. And you can see some of the areas that could potentially be impacted. We are not in the enhanced risk to the northwest, although the slight risk does kind of peek into our area. Marginal risk for everybody else, a level 1 out of 5 severe weather categories. More on what those mean in just a minute. Susan and Susie, thanks for joining the Digital Weather Desk this afternoon. The severe weather threat for the rest of the day on Wednesday shows that pretty much the entire area will at least have some threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. Again, they are expected to be generally isolated in their overall coverage. We talk about these severe weather risk levels so frequently, and oftentimes we just don't stop and kind of talk about what they mean. And in this kind of type of platform, we have the opportunity to sit and talk about what these mean for just a second. And again, there are 5 different severe weather threat levels that are issued by the Storm Prediction Center. We see marginal, slight, and enhanced risk days fairly frequently. The marginal and slight risk days are very, very common, meaning that storms are expected to generally be isolated, and they're limited in their coverage and or their duration. So either they're spotty storms, or they're short-lived storms, or they're a combination of both. Then you get into the slight risks where storms can be somewhat more potent and a little bit more widespread, but they still are typically fairly short-lived. And then, of course, you move up from there. Enhanced, moderate, and then the high-risk days are very, very infrequent. Those are the days that we see maybe once a year or once every couple of years, and we typically don't see them in our area overly often. So that's, again, a look at kind of the severe weather risk levels. We'll review those from time to time, especially as we see them more frequently into the fall months. Look at Futurecast rain totals, and I show you this first to show you that, again, most of us will probably see rain, but how much rain really depends on location, and there will be some areas that are left kind of disappointed with their overall rain totals as we go through the next 36 hours. This is more of an official forecast. This is from the Weather Prediction Center. It's, again, a government agency like the National Hurricane Center or the National Weather Service or things like that. So this is their forecast for rain totals over the next 48 hours, and I wanted to show that to you because I really kind of think in terms of broader forecast totals, these are the numbers we should generally type of numbers we should expect. That said, obviously, thunderstorm-driven rains will produce the heaviest downpours, and that also leads to the flash flood or the excessive rain outlook. Marginal risk, level 1. So essentially, where we are sitting is any storms that move through early tomorrow or really through the day tomorrow have the potential of maybe becoming severe and maybe producing some heavy rainfall. That shouldn't be a shock for our area. You should not hear that and go, oh goodness. It's pretty common stuff. That said, take it seriously, have ways of receiving alerts, and obviously I'll be around to keep an eye on things even through the overnight hours tonight, make sure nothing gets crazy. Quick check of the tropical satellite. 3 different areas. They're pretty easy to point out. Top middle part of your screen, that's Gabrielle, now racing off to the east. More on that storm in just a minute. To the bottom, the 2 waves that are kind of lining up, one making its way closer to Puerto Rico and some of the Windward and Leeward Islands, and then obviously we have another wave behind it that's a little bit farther northward and is expected to take a more northwesterly track. The other thing that you're seeing out over the Bahamas is more of kind of like an upper mid-level low. Not really worried about that in the short term, but it may help to kind of steer that first wave off to the north and west. Again, we'll talk about those as they get a little bit closer. Gabrielle is a Category 4 hurricane, maximum sustained winds 140 miles per hour, but booking it off to the east-northeast at 20 miles per hour. The 5-day cone, I'll show you the 3-day cone this morning. Here's the 5-day cone, and you can see this storm's going to cover a lot of ground over the next 5 days and eventually pushes it towards the Spain and Portuguese coastlines by the end of the weekend. And so, again, that's a pretty nasty North Atlantic storm, but no U.S. impacts are expected. Quick check of the day planner for the rest of the day. Again, the spotty storms will remain a possibility, especially south. Some brief showers elsewhere across the area. Those storms could even linger into the early evening, but overall rain chances through the rest of today, the day part of today, will likely stay rather limited for any one area at any one time. As we go into the evening, clouds start gathering ahead of the frontal system that moves through the area early tomorrow morning. May, thanks so much for joining us. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Outdoor Equipment, the exclusive outdoor power equipment company of the Digital Weather Desk. And we bumped the rain chances down for Wednesday. And I know you're going, that may be a little bit of a head scratcher to you. Just considering some of the latest model data that comes in that kind of shows a smidge more of a scattered nature of the rainfall through the day on Wednesday, brought them back down 10%. Again, shouldn't be that big of an alarm bell or anything like that. That's just, I build the forecast every day and tweak it, and sometimes I just don't like the way the numbers look. So, again, down to 60% for the day on Wednesday. And continuing to keep relatively high rain chances for the southern parishes on Thursday, southern parishes and counties. I think areas like Natchez, Mississippi may see some lingering showers at least through the early half of the day on Thursday. We clear out for the weekend, mid-80s Friday, upper 80s for the rest of the weekend and beyond. Did I really put 88 3 straight days? Actually, that's supposed to be a 90 on Monday. Sorry, guys. I hate to say that, but I'm actually going to go ahead and change it right now so I don't forget. So that's that. That's a look at the forecast, too. So when you see that again this evening, unless something crazy's changed to the forecast, that Monday afternoon high will be 90, and it may even change before we wrap things up here. Renee, thanks so much for joining us. I'm looking forward to the cooler temperatures as well. That should also be something to take away from the 7-day forecast is Friday, Saturday. It's still warm, but it's lower humidity. This will be drier air punching in, so the morning lows are a little bit more comfortable in the mid-60s, maybe even the upper 50s in some spots. So again, there is some pluses to be made in the forecast once we get beyond the rain chances of Wednesday and Thursday. I'll join you later this afternoon or early this evening as we take a look at the forecast going into the night. We keep an eye on the storm activity to our north, any isolated stuff that's popped up over our area as well. All things that we will keep an eye on as we go through the rest of the evening and later tonight. There's the 90. See, it just changed. All right. Thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. And I'll catch you later this afternoon as we keep an eye on the upcoming cold front and the subsequent